Okay, hello, this is Robert Weinstein. I'm at Medgar Evers College. It is Monday, May 12th, and I'm speaking to Valesta Lynch. She is a student at Medgar Evers College, and she was in the Army. She was in SPC, which is...
A specialist.
I'm sorry?
Specialist.
Okay, and then... she served in the OEF and OIF, which is...
The wars, Iraq and Afghanistan.
Okay, great. Okay. Operation...
Enduring Freedom and Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Okay, great. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you grow up? And
I was born and raised in Grenada, which is an island in the Caribbean.
Okay.
And I moved here in 2003. And I joined the Army in 2003 as well.
Okay. What was the life like in Grenada?
Nice. It's warm all year round. I mean, it's different from New York. It's not as crowded. Very different.
Okay. And did you have brothers and sisters? Did you?
Yeah, I have a sister.
Okay. And how old were you when you moved to New York?
20.
Okay. And why did you move?
Oh, my mom lived here, so I just kind of moved to live with her. I mean, a change.
Mm-hmm. And what neighborhood did you live in?
Here,
New York, yeah.
In Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, okay.
Yeah, Crown Heights, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay, what was it like?
Different.
Uh-huh.
Culture shock. Yeah. The busyness, the crowdedness, the noise, you kind of getting used to. A lot of people. One thing I liked about it is people from all different backgrounds. Because Crown Heights, it's on Kingston, it's kind of between the borderline between blacks and the Jews. So it's very interesting.
Do you remember anything specifically like that like a specific incident or a specific specific incident that struck you?
No, not really. But first off, it was my first time. The Caribbean, Grenada, is mostly African Americans, black folks. Not African Americans, black folks.
Uh-huh.
And then when you move to New York, there's everybody that you're not used to. But I guess if you're close-minded, it's sort of hard to get used to. But for me, I like it. I like the different foods, different people. It's a different way of life. That stuff interests me. It's like a whole new world, so I like it.
Okay. And you said the year you moved is the year you enlisted?
Yeah.
Why did you choose to enlist?
When I moved here, I lived with my mother, and I'm not used to me, 20, I'm an adult, sort of, and you're moving with your mom, and she wants to know where you're going, who you with, why, how, and I'm not used to that, so I felt like I had to get away from her. And I was walking on Eastern Parkway, I think, there's a recruitment office, and I went in, and I kind of joined the Army. When I told her, she couldn't believe. She was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Was she happy about it? Was she just shocked?
She was shocked. She wasn't happy. My mom is kind of, it's your life, it's your choice. That's her thing. Do what you feel like doing. But she was shocked. She was like, "I can't believe you just got here and you're already." Yeah.
Why? Had you wanted to? Had you been thinking about it?
No.
Okay.
It was a spur of the moment. Oh, there's the Army office. Let me go see what they're talking about. And okay, sure, I'll sign up.
What was it? Was there anything that sort of sealed the deal for you?
I wouldn't be in New York. Living my mom. That was it.
Okay.
Anyway, but here living with her, that was it.
Okay. And how long between the time you signed up and that you
shipped out?
Shipped out, yeah.
July, and I shipped out in November.
Okay.
couple months.
What did you do in between? What was life like in between?
Well, it was my first summer here, so I came here in July. I signed up at the end of July, and I shipped out in November. So I got to see New York a little bit before I actually left.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite thing about it?
About New York?
Yeah.
The people and the food.
Okay.
I love food, so the food.
Okay.
The people and the food. And the summer is pretty nice. The people don't go to sleep.
Uh-huh.
I like it. All hours, you see kids outside. It's like midnight, and kids are. It's like that's their morning, and it's like wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I'm a night person, so if I could sleep all day, I would and come out at night, but I can't. So.
Okay. So when you tell us about boot camp.
It was fun.
Okay.
At first, when you join the army, you can't do a single. I couldn't do like a single push-up or sit-ups, but within a couple months, it was good. You meet people from different walks of life, from like states where, like Kentucky, where one guy have never seen a black person face to face until he left his hometown, and it's like wow. So it was fun, I made friends. It was challenging because you have to run 6 and 7 miles and the whole nine. But
and was that immediate? Like you get there and and then you immediately they immerse you in this. Tell me what it was like, because obviously I don't know.
So at first it's kind of you have like no personality because it's just one big group. Like basically they herd you like cattle. You just one big group. Nobody knows your name. Nobody knows like who you are, and they treated everybody the same. But in boot camp you go through phases: white, I think blue, red, and something like that. So the first phase I think actually is the red phase where. Like, that's where you don't know anything about the army. You don't know anything about, basically, the people around you. So, it's a bit tough if you can handle it. You see people crying, people breaking down, people practically losing their minds. But by month number 2, it kind of eases out because now they know the drill sergeants are getting a feel of what each individual person is like. So it's not so hard anymore. The training is still hard, but the whole experience, you see people start clicking off. You have 5 or 6 people who hang together. So they provide support. You can do this, So that helps. And after that, it just gets easier, actually.
What was when you mentioned the difficulty of like that first month? Was there anything specifically that was difficult for you?
You miss home.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Despite not wanting to be here, you miss home. It's like, oh my God, I don't know these people, and the food is different, and they don't give you a lot of time to eat. And I like food, so it's like 5 minutes you gotta eat everything, and you gotta get in lines. It's the whole conditioning thing of you don't speak when you're not spoken to, that kind of thing. It takes a bit getting used to it first, especially for me who don't like people telling me what to do. I'm like, wow, I can't do this. But eventually you're like, it's not so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how long was the boot camp? How long is the boot camp experience altogether, or that phase? Okay.
I think it's 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
That was so long ago. It's hard to remember. I remember the people, not the actual.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember feeling a difference at the end of it?
Yeah, I was stronger. It felt like I was ready to take on the world. I definitely did. I mean, I knew more coming out, a lot more than when I went in. So,
a lot more.
Discipline-wise, you get to a certain thing, because in basic training you gotta make your bed a certain way, your shoes has to be lined up and shined a certain way, your uniform has to be well pressed, and tidiness was a thing. It has always been a thing for me, but the Army hammered it in a little bit more. You have to be, you have to take care of your space. Also, being aware of your surroundings. You have to know what happens around you. I think that made it even more why I don't drink now. I like to be aware of your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. And what happened after basic training?
I went to Korea.
To do...
My first duty station was in Camp Casey, South Korea. It's
Okay.
it's like a regular military base, sort of. It's just in Korea. Best duty station ever.
Tell me about it.
It's fun. It's like a year-long vacation, sort of. Because, deployments and even Korea, what you don't have is the stress of bills in America. When you're here, you have to worry about, you got bills to pay, you got a car, you got an apartment, rent, those kind of things. That's one thing that you don't have to worry about when you're over there. That's somebody else's problem. Your task, your duty is worrying about where you at. So you worry about Korea, what's happening with your unit at that point in time, nothing else.
Okay. And what kind of work were you doing there?
My job was a chemical operations specialist. So you deal with sort of that covered a lot of things, but decon for chemical, like in case of a chemical warfare, the protective mask and the protective gear and those kind of things.
And you learn what to do,
Yeah.
how to handle that
How
situation?
to react, yeah.
Okay.
You learn, from basic training, you learn what a chemical attack would basically look like, what different chemicals smell like, if there's a chemical attack and you are hit, what your changes would be like, so you could recognize it. So in Korea, it's kind of like you kind of perfect that. You do it over and over. You train on it so you could do it basically with your eyes closed.
How do they train you for that?
Well, you see videos of animals being infected with, that's kind of, what's that thing, Peter? They won't like that.
Okay, yeah, right.
They won't like that. But yeah, you see videos of like animals being infected and how quickly, they die. You see, they show you a lot of videos from like back in the day as well of people, during time of war they talk about, it's a lot of, I guess, science mostly,
Okay.
The what smells like fresh cut grass and what doesn't, and if there's a chemical attack, for instance, in the subway, what would happen, and then all those kind of things.
Okay. And just as for one small detail, when they were showing you those videos of people, were they people who were suffering from the effects of
People
this?
who, like, early war, like Vietnam and World War I and II, those kind of things, they show you people who were hit, before and maybe after, and those kind of things.
Okay.
Because not everybody died. Some people. Now I work for the Department of Veteran Affairs, and you see people who are a little. They still have the effects of chemical warfare. They're a little not so normal anymore.
Okay. And how long were you in Korea?
1 year.
1 year, okay. And where did you go after that?
Fort Drum, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for what purpose?
That's my next duty station. So it's southern Canada. It gets cold up there. A lot of snow. Ooh. But I picked that duty station because they say New York and you're thinking, oh, it must be close to home. Until you get there and you realize it's like 6 hours away driving. This is not it. At first it's like, okay, I'm never going home. That's too far. But yeah, you make the drive. Yeah. I started coming home like every other weekend when I possibly can. It was because the food up there is not like the food in New York. So yeah, I started coming home, and so I stayed there for about a year maybe, and then first deployment to Afghanistan.
Okay. And what did you do in Afghanistan? What was your...
Fortunately, when you the threat of chemical warfare is not as prevalent today as it was, in the previous wars. So I think maybe when they first went to Iraq and there was a whole threat of weapons of mass destruction, that was big. But when you go to Afghanistan in 2006, it's not that big of an issue anymore. Yeah, you gotta be prepared all the time, but it's not that big. So I wasn't really doing that. What I did do, I worked with some of the local, the Iraqi national, Afghani national. We would, because they try to employ them as much as possible. So they come, we pick them up from the entry control point, and they do.
I'm sorry, which?
Entry control, where you come on base.
Oh yeah.
Where you come onto the, and they did. Like, they picked up trash, but I worked with the carpenters. They go around, because you live in little huts, so they have to build up stuff, build beds and build doors and stuff like that. I kind of volunteered for it, because I wanted to see what they were like. You hear all those things, and you think they're all terrorists, I guess. But I don't believe that. So I wanted to see what they were like. And that in itself was interesting. Because in every bunch, there's good and the bad. So, that was interesting.
Do you remember one person in particular?
Yeah, I remember a lot of them. I have pictures, I have videos. They were all, most of them were pretty nice. I tell you what, the Afghani men, they're a little more, from my experience, they're not as bad as the Iraqi men that I came in contact with. They didn't, although they don't like a female telling them what to do, they didn't try to fight you. They were more like, you know what, I guess they understand. I'm here to do a job, and their culture is different from ours, so I guess a female could tell you what to do, and that's fine. It's weird. In my deployments, I think I was more scared of the American soldiers than the Iraqi or Afghani men.
Talk about that.
I guess sexual assault and sexual harassment in the military, nowadays it's pretty out there. And I don't know if the deployment is frequent deployments is the reason for it, but yeah, you get a lot of that. And I've had my share of it, so both stateside and while deployed. So, to me, the Afghani men while in Afghanistan the first time, they were not a threat. They were always nice. First off, they're nice to you because they want you to give them stuff. The nicer they are to you, the nicer you are to them. So they would ask you for something. Oh, can I have your shoes? And because they're nice, you're more likely to say, sure, I got 3, I'll give you one. But they learn that pretty soon, that if they're nice to you, you're gonna be nice to them. So they were not very hostile for when I worked with them. Actually, they were very nice. They always bought you gifts. They always when they see you, it don't matter who they with, they would call out to you. They remember your name. That was to me my best deployment. That despite the military soldiers who were not so nice, you know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Military soldiers, the American military soldiers. Was it prevalent among people you knew and people you didn't know? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly those people that I knew. Even before we deployed, that same year, before we deployed, once I came back to the States from Korea, while in Korea though, my roommate got assaulted by her platoon sergeant, who is like higher ranking, you know. These are people though that, my thing is this, that the higher ranking officials in the military, be it enlisted or commissioned, the female soldiers or male soldiers under their command, they're supposed to protect them. What I've experienced is a lot of times they don't. They abuse their position. They use it for personal whatever. She accused him of assault, and I think he went to jail. Yeah, I think he did went to jail.
Okay.
But so then I got stuck with her because we were friends in addition to being roommates. So I had to go because there was a fear of her committing suicide and the whole night. So I got stuck with her. We had to. I was like basically stuck to her everywhere she went for a minute actually. So you want to be there for your friend, but at the same time, that's not a good experience. You have to hear about it over and over and over. And then, in addition to that, people look at her crazy. People give her that, also that sympathetic look. Oh, I feel so sorry for you. Mm-hmm. After a while, that's like, come on, enough already. You know, she'll be fine. She's not going to kill herself. Not while she's with me anyway. Uh-huh. But at the same time, you're like, oh, that's enough. So that in itself kind of rattled me a bit, you know, because she's my roommate. If that could happen to her, it could happen to any one of us. Mm. Then that was Korea. Then I came to the States, full drum, and my unit was new. They just started, and we got a first sergeant, and everybody is like, he's a little fresh, but he don't harass me. So I'm like, I stay out of his way. That's just what it is. But he somehow made it a point to find me. He every now and then he would make a point to find me. And I'm like, what do you want? And he would make small talk. But I never took him too seriously until one day I was sick. So I didn't go to work. And there's a knock on my door. So I'm like, okay, it's the middle of the day. Who is it? And it's him. So I'm like, what do you want? And he's like, I was looking for you, but they said you're not at work today. And they said you were home because you were sick. So I wanted to see how you're doing. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine though. He's like, what's wrong? I said, my stomach is sick. So the doctor gave me the day off. So that's why I didn't come to work. So he's like, okay. So he said, what you got in your fridge to drink? I'm like, nothing. It's the middle of the day. Like, what do you want? He's like, let me see what you got. So he pushed the door and come in, and I'm like, okay. He's like, what do you got on? Because I'm home. I'm sick. So I'm wearing a big T-shirt, a big white T-shirt, probably like a double XL or something. So he's like, what do you got under your shirt? And I'm like, dude, like, seriously, get up. And he tried to lift up my shirt. So I said, get out. There's people in the building and I will scream. And I don't think you want that. So he's like, okay, whatever. And he leaves. That kind of, okay, that's weird. But I didn't report him. I'm not somebody who tells. I'm not a run-go tell about everything. But apparently, he didn't stop with me. So a couple days later, then he used to call my phone and leave like voice messages. Like, I don't know. I mean, your number is part of the company calling roster, so that's kind of easy to get.
Right.
So he called my phone and leave all these messages about, oh, let's hang out and let's do this. I mean, I never responded to any of it. A couple of weeks later, my unit went out to the field, but it was like not all of us, like maybe one platoon actually, the fuel platoon, they went out to the field. And I guess one of the other females was in the truck because it's nighttime and it gets kind of cold. And he went in the truck and tried to fondle her and try to kiss her. So she turned him in. But I guess she had a habit of not telling the truth. So one of my roommate at that point in time, she said, but he been harassing my roommate and he been calling her phone and leaving voicemails. And she have it because she let me listen to it. So now
you're involved.
Which I hated. And it was like, okay. So it got crazy. Court-martialed. I don't know if he went to jail. I think he was forced to retire because he had like 20-something years in. He was forced to retire, and quite a few other people got in trouble, and I hate that stuff. Mm-hmm. So before we deployed, we got a new first sergeant who was nothing like him. Thank God. Because deployment can be a bit difficult when you have a first sergeant like that. But the new first sergeant was pretty cool. He dealt with everyone the same way. He didn't have any favorites. He didn't have any, you wrong, you right. That was it. So we deployed. The Afghanis people are okay. The military soldiers, on the other hand, now, it's deployment, and their wives are at home, and they refer to deployment as single for a year, so they're free to do whatever they feel like doing, but not everybody is free, feel that way. You're not supposed to have sex on deployment. You're not supposed to do a lot of things on deployment. That don't stop anybody from doing it. So people were having sex. One day, in our unit at that time, there's one particular sergeant who, higher ranking guy, and I don't know if he didn't like me or he liked me. It's hard to tell. I think it was he liked me, but
it's like middle school or elementary school,
you know? So
Mm-hmm.
whenever he saw me, he would make rude comments, say all kind of inappropriate stuff. So one day, we're sitting in the first sergeant's office, about 5 different people. I'm sitting like here, and there's like people sitting in like a half a circle. And he comes in and he looks over and saw me, and he made a rude comment to me. So I said, how about you go F yourself and leave me alone? I'm tired of your ass. Every time you see me, you got something smart or rude to say. And he walked over to where I was, and there's a table like this, and he literally bends me over the table. Mind you, there is like about 5 other people sitting right there, and I'm like cussing and struggling to get him off me, like, get off me, stop, or whatever. But he won't. Nobody said anything while they're sitting there and just looking. But the night I'm in my little hut where we live, and someone knocks on the door and said, the first sergeant wants to see you. And I'm like, oh God, what did I do today? So you know when somebody said, somebody wants to see you, you're starting to think back, what did I do today wrong? Right? And I'm like, okay, I didn't do anything today, so what is it? So I go into the first sergeant's office, the same office from earlier that day, and the company commander, the first sergeant, both platoon leaders, the XO, both platoon sergeants. And I'm like, okay, this does not look good. So I'm like, he's like, what happened today? So I said, nothing. And he's like, don't lie to me. What happened today? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, what happened in here today? And I'm like, oh, God, here we go again. So I told him what happened, and one of the guys who was sitting there, who never intervened when that guy grabbed me up, decided that he's going to go tell the first sergeant what happened because the guy have no right to do that. And I'm like, okay, but he could have stopped it right then and there. Prevent the situation from getting crazy. Say, listen, as a female, you're not supposed to put your hands on her, much less to bend her over a table in front of everybody when you're bigger than her, because he's bigger, way bigger. Instead, you go tell, because he wanted to use it for his own personal thing. He didn't like the guy, and he knew that would get him in trouble. So he didn't really care about basically my welfare. He cared about sticking it to the guy for whatever little personal issues they have, which I didn't appreciate. I felt like, if you got a problem with him, deal with him, but don't use don't use me to, either way, it's bad enough when you in the U.S. and you have to deal with that stuff. There's an escape. The weekend come, you don't have to see these people anymore. But when you deploy, there is no weekend. There is no time off. Right. You're in a small space, and you have to deal with it. That in itself can drive you crazy.
Yeah.
And that dragged on for a while. And even if they moved him out of your unit, you still see that person when you go to the shower, when you go to the gym. So that was kind of...
What ended up happening to the guy?
He was, they put like a letter in your file, like a letter of reprimand or something like that effect, stating that you, I guess, behaved badly and you cannot be promoted, and they moved him to another unit. I guess that's what that guy wanted, but
okay.
It kind of sucked. So that deployment was over. We came back to the States for a year. Then we went to Iraq.
And were you doing the same? Were you doing this? Oh, do you have time?
No, I think my phone already.
Oh. What were you doing in Iraq?
This time I worked at the entry control point where every single Iraqi who came onto the base, you scan them, or you scan their eyes. You like the men, they pat them down. But I'm a female, so I can't touch the men. I wouldn't touch them, but I would have to touch the females, which rarely, you get one or two of them coming in. So, but we started in the mornings at about 7, because you have almost 1,000 people coming on there in the mornings. So it gets crazy. And,
But is it like a lineup of cars or
no,
a lineup of people?
Walking
people
in.
walking?
People
okay.
walking in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to search all their belongings, and you have to pat them down to make sure that they're not carrying any contraband or anything that they shouldn't have. So,
what were they doing on the base?
they work. Any and everything. They work. You know, they work with the engineering guys. They work with the plumbers. They did like there was like some, I guess, a building. They did training, and once they're done, they do like internships with the different departments. It's kind of like over here, except over there it's kind of somebody got to go with them everywhere they go. You know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
Were there I don't want to be like sensationalist, but were there moments of did you feel like you were in danger doing that?
they don't like women telling them what to do.
Okay.
And they have no problem letting you know that they don't like women telling them what to do.
Okay.
And in addition to just women, they don't like black women telling them what to do. So I had 2 strikes against me. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They threaten you openly. Like, if you was here, I would kill you. They have no problem telling you. Yeah.
And it's not just posturing. You feel as though...
Yeah. Like, if they were to catch you unattentive, they would hurt you.
Uh-huh.
Because if you, on the morning shift, because we rotated shifts, so we would work mornings one time and then we would work evenings another day or something. On the mornings, it's not as bad. They're well behaved. They want to come on. They want to work. For the most part, they're good. Now, when it's time to get out on afternoons and they want to go home, yeah, they want to fight you. They're fighting each other. Because it's the same process. To go home, you just don't walk out. They have to make sure that you didn't take anything that you're not supposed to take with you. So they still have to search you. Certain things, like they wouldn't let them leave with soda bottles because apparently out there the streets are covered in soda bottles and they use it to hide like IDs and stuff. So I guess they didn't want to add to the problem, so they wouldn't let them leave with a lot of different things. They had those restrictions that they couldn't take it home. So they get upset when you tell them you can't take it and someone gave it to them as a gift. Oh yeah, that don't fly easy. Mm-hmm. And as time went by, during the year that I was there, they change the rules all the time. Like 1 minute they can take certain things and then next week they can't take it, and so they never got that.
And when the rule changed, were you the ones who...
You have to take...
Okay.
You know, that's the thing. The rule changed by Hire, but Hire is not there to explain to them why you can't do certain things. Mm-hmm. We're the ones that have to say to them, yeah, you can't take it. But last week, and it's like, it's not me. I'm just telling you what came down from up there, and they say you can't anymore. Some of them are not so understanding. Uh-huh. They literally want to put their hands on you like, I'm going to kill you. It's weird. Uh-huh. It's weird, actually. They have TB. A lot of them has TB, and they cough in your face, and they want to shake your hands, and they want to hug you. Not all of them are bad, like angry at you. Some of them are very nice. They always bring you gifts, but when they give you a gift, mean that you got to give them a gift too. It's never one-sided. They give you a gift, you got to give them a gift as well. Some of them are nice. I mean, I don't mind it, it's fine. But others, there are some very big, strong ones that, like, if I catch you behind this wall, I'm going to cut your throat, kind of thing. Yeah, they get a bit crazy. Now, in addition to them being violent, there were soldiers. The same, we had a soldier who walked the post with us as well, and he was a little unstable. He had problems at home with his marriage. He had a lot of different issues. And he come to work and he didn't do a very good job for the most part. And so one day I told him, like, come on, we understand you got issues. Tell me who don't. We all got issues, but you got to pull your weight. You cannot just think. You know, if somebody have a problem and they come to work and it's like, for the first 2 weeks you like, okay, I understand you're dealing with some stuff right now. But by week number 3, you like, don't milk the situation. Come on.
Yeah.
Pick yourself up. And he didn't appreciate that. So he pulled his weapon and pointed it in my face. And those guys around me, they're like, come on, what are you doing? So now it's like a standoff. I'm there standing, no weapon, and this guy is in front of me with his weapon pointed in my face, and the other 3 guys working with me has the weapon pointed at him, and I'm like, come on, really? You guys are going to do this, like, here? Yeah.
Huh.
And then I'm like, come on. Then one of the guys I'm like, come on, you the sergeant. You're supposed to be the one saying, calm down. Put your weapon down. Talk to him. And eventually I'm the one with the weapon pointed at, but I'm the mediator. So, yeah. So eventually he was able to talk to him and get him to put his weapon down. They took him off that detail afterwards, but nothing happened to him. It's like the stress of Iraq. He'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. Nothing happened.
In both the stories you've told me, there is an instance of someone who's higher ranking than you, who's sort of watching and not doing anything. Mm-hmm. So does this have to do with is that a reflection of the dynamics on the base or during deployment? Like, does that I guess what I'm asking, are the lines grayed a little bit as to the hierarchy? And well, socially, like, I mean, I guess I'm thinking that there's a hierarchical structure of rank, and then there's like a social structure, which is where the lines are grayer.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, the military has its rank structure. I guess that's what you're saying. The on the book rank structure,
right. And
then the social rank structure of who takes charge.
Right.
And yeah.
Okay.
Because you can be of a high rank, but you may not be a leader. And leadership skills is not a deciding factor in whether or not you make rank. You read a book, you cram some stuff, you complete a few courses online, and you make rank. But you may not be able to lead yourself out of a closet, but somehow you're a leader because you got the rank and they put soldiers under you. And yeah, sometimes that's like a recipe for disaster. So what you tend to find, what I find was that a lot of times people who did not have the rank on their chest was taking charge because they had the quality, personality-wise, to take charge.
Right. So
you find that a lot.
Okay.
Because the guy standing there, he is he's in charge because he's the sergeant. But what you find was that 95% of the times, myself and one of the other guys took charge. He would be there and people would come to us. Like, we want to do this, can you? And he was just sitting there. Because he was just not a leader.
Right.
That's true.
Okay. How long were you in Iraq in total?
1 year.
Okay.
1 year in Afghanistan, 1 year in Iraq, then came home for a year, went back to Afghanistan for another year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And doing the same thing in Afghanistan?
No. This time, when I went to Afghanistan, it's weird, because I worked in the arms room with the weapons, and the same guy who pulled the weapon on me in Iraq, he was working in there with me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was...
How was that?
See, I don't know. First, you see, that's the thing. I didn't have a problem with him because I knew he was dealing with some stuff. So they asked me, "Do you mind? We need somebody to work in there," and he is just not. He's not a leader. So they're like, "We know you would be able to handle it," and I've had the training with the weapons because I had to take like a number of courses. So they said, "That's your job, but we gotta send this joker to work with you. You think you'll be fine with it?" And I said, "I'll talk to him before, let him know. I mean, don't come with no BS, but sure, I don't have a problem with him. It's nothing personal." So, yeah, we worked in there for about a year, and we never had an issue.
Okay.
The few times we had like him going crazy, because then in the end they ended up putting another guy, so it was two of us. I mean, me in charge, and him and the other guy, even though he's the sergeant. On our shift, which was like the night shift, from like 6 to like 6 in the morning or something like that. And him and the other guy would get into it all the time. And I had to intervene, like, relax, like, y'all crazy? I beat both of y'all. Not in here. Y'all can't fight around in here with all these weapons and armor and everything. I mean, it's weird. Soldiers fight. Because not everybody gets along. And there's weapons and armor around. It can be a deadly situation real quick. So somebody has to say, okay, calm down. You know?
Right.
But we worked fine for the entire year. We didn't have a problem.
Well, that's good. Okay. And after that deployment, were you finished, or did you?
Yeah, we came back after that deployment at the end of 2011, and I wasn't going to get out, but they started talking. Oh, at the end of 2012, we're going to Afghanistan again, and I'm like, no, we're not. I'm out. I'm not doing this anymore. 3 times within like 4 years, or Afghanistan 1 year, Iraq 1 year, Afghanistan, and now I'm back. You saying 1 year and Afghanistan again, and I'm like, yeah, no. And they just all came back not too long ago. I was like, that would have been me.
Okay. And so were you discharged, or did you?
It's called what's it called? ETS, I think. When you voluntarily get out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does ETS stand for? You know?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Something, combination of service, I can't remember.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And what did you do when you left? What was like, what did you do?
So, I moved back to New York. And,
did you move in with your mom?
No.
Okay.
I was dating this guy who lived in New York. He was never in the military. So it was sort of like a long distance thing. And when I got out, I moved in with him. And but I started school. I got out in like November, and I started school in January of like the next year at LIU. So then we got married. And I wasn't working, I just went to school. But I was looking, and I went to the Department of Veteran Affairs for, medical needs, and they were hiring, so I applied. And then about a year later, they called me, and I started working there.
Okay.
Like February of 2013.
Is this a full-time job?
Yeah.
Okay, and you go to school?
Yeah.
Okay. How's that?
Challenging. It's challenging, definitely. Because, like, for instance, this semester, I'm taking 5 classes. So, full time on 5 classes, it seems like there is no time. There is not enough time in the day, it seems. But, yeah, I'm not doing that again. I usually take 4. Which is a big enough load, but I do good. So, I mean, like last semester I got 3 A's and a B, I think. So it's okay. My GPA is like a 3.8, so I decided, okay, let's see if we could step it up a bit. That's not.
Okay.
It's yeah. So, but um, I don't think I would need to take 5 classes anymore because I'm supposed to graduate next year. So I'm taking summer classes. So hopefully I don't have to take 5 classes anymore.
Okay.
You
Mhm. And what kind of work do you do with the VA?
I'm a program support assistant for the pulmonary department. So I kind of run the pulmonary department, sort of everything from the. I don't generally do patient scheduling, but I would if I have to, and the doctor's schedule, the doctor's pay, time cards, putting in medications for patients who call in for refills and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I kind of do it.
And what would you like to do when you graduate?
Start off by doing substance abuse, alcohol and substance abuse counseling. So once I graduate with my bachelor's in psychology, you have to take the necessary courses for that field. I think it's called KSAC or something to that effect. And then go back and get my master's
Oh, okay.
and hopefully move on to my PhD.
Okay. Okay. I think we're finished. Is there anything that we forgot to ask you, or that you'd like to say that you haven't?
My sister's in the Navy, and one of the things that I worry about is she's younger than I am, and it's like the same sexual harassment type stuff. Sometimes I wonder whether or not she's built to deal with it. As I think I dealt with it pretty well. So I wonder if she's. I mean, it bothers me. It affected me, but I wonder if she's built to deal with it the same way.
Have you talked to her about it?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, she's different.
Okay. How so?
She's not a talker. She's one of those, what do you call them, introverts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
She kind of sticks to herself, like a little recluse. But me, on the other hand, I'm a talker. So, yeah. I wonder how she would deal with it if it happened to her. And I don't think she would tell either.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But outside those little bumps in the road, I guess, during my military service, I don't regret it. I like it. You know?
Okay.
2 or 3 little bumps cannot make a whole 8 years bad. They were very good moments. I've made great friends that I'm out of the army and we're still friends. They come to visit me. We talk all the time. So.
Can you? I know there's probably a lot to choose from, but can you just tell us about like a really great moment, like something that made you feel really good about the service and about the experience?
I remember deployment in Afghanistan the first time with the new first sergeant and the company commander. They decided to up the morale. They were going to have a barbecue. And so I think it was a Friday, the first sergeant kind of said, everybody, once you're done, we're going to meet up in the back of the beehive and we will have a barbecue. And everybody was there. There were no egos, no rank matter. It was just everybody hanging out and having a good time. It was a moment to remember.
Okay.
I think it was. I think though what brought it about was a sad moment, but it turned out good. Because while in Afghanistan, I was in an aviation unit, and one of the Chinooks crashed, and 11 people died. And one of the guys was. I knew most of them, but one of them I knew, like we knew him. He was in our unit all the time. So that was kind of sad. So everybody was kind of down about it. So they excited to have the little get
The
together.
barbecue, yeah.
Things like that.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. Appreciate it. Thank you for the service as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.